What's up, everybody? I'm Kyle Carlson from VitalBMX.com, and it is officially time for the 2017 X Games. I figured it made more sense to exclusively discuss the upcoming X Games than it did to do another weekly update this week. Here we are, let's get right into it. So you may or may not know, but we really haven't covered the X Games much the past couple years. We'll always post the results and post some highlight clips, but as far as going out and being on site, we've really just passed. Reason being, quite frankly, they're pretty bad to the endemic media. Our access is incredibly restricted. The security guards generally suck, kind of get treated like shit, but honestly, it's a huge event for the sport, and there's a couple new exciting developments that make me want to go this year, so I'm officially going back and we will be on site. As you probably already know, X Games Austin is no more, and X Games has officially made the move to Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have a flight to Minneapolis at 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning. I'm not looking forward to that at all, but I am looking forward to what comes after it. So it's looking like the weather's going to be in the 80s. It's going to be somewhat humid, but it's not going to be nearly as hot as it was in Austin the past couple years. And as a huge plus, I believe every event other than BMX Vert will be taking place inside the US Bank Center. Apparently the US Bank Center is some beautiful state-of-the-art stadium that's only been around for about 1 year. Apparently it cost $1 billion to build, which I don't know much about stadiums, but that seems pretty damn expensive to me. I guess it has a bit of a transparent roof so you can still see the outside and it's full of natural light. But fortunately, we won't be dealing with any of the elements, which have been an issue for numerous X Games contests in the past. As I previously mentioned, there's a couple things going on at X Games that I think are kind of exciting this year. They weren't open qualifiers, but they still did host qualifiers for Vert and for Park. This kind of freshened up the lineup of riders in Park at least. Vert's mostly the same guys, but it's nice to see them making an effort to spread it out. And the fact that all the events are indoors, it means they're all going to happen. That's a good thing. I'm excited to get out there. And I might sound like I'm complaining, but I love the X Games. It's an awesome opportunity for BMX to be on a huge stage, and an awesome opportunity for some of my friends to make a lot of money. So I'm going to highlight each of the BMX events that's going down this year. I'll mention a couple guys I think you should keep your eyes out for, as well as who my pick is to take the win. First up, let's talk about Vert. Vert is one of the two events they did a qualifier for. While the Vert community is pretty small and they're only inviting 8 riders to this event, it really didn't make a huge difference, but it is great to see guys like Zach Newman and Michael Loren in there. The first alternate in the event is Alex Landeros. He's a new guy to the Vert scene. He rode the qualifier and didn't quite make it in, but he's absolutely been killing it. He's been putting in a lot of time on the ramp and taking it pretty seriously. I think it's worth noting that this event is not taking place inside of the US Bank Stadium. It is taking place in the X-Fest area. I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know we will have to deal with the elements. With that being said, the forecast looks clear, so hopefully it's smooth sailing. As far as riders to watch, I think the standout two are going to be Jamie Bestwick and Vince Byron. Probably not a shock I picked these two. They really seem to be at the forefront of Vert riding. Vince Byron is the only guy who has dethroned Jamie Bestwick in recent times, and quite frankly, he can do it again if he nails all his stuff and is on point. Jamie's just the absolute godfather of vert riding. What he does in BMX at his age is absolutely mind-blowing. He's a true athlete, he works his ass off, and X Games is really his one time each year to shine. Also gotta give a bonus shout out to Simon Tabron, always a key player, always on or near the podium. Dude rides vert like nobody else. If you're forcing me to pick a winner, it probably won't surprise you that I am going with Jamie Bestwick. Jamie takes vert riding very seriously. He rides all the time at Woodward Camp. I do think Vince is his biggest adversary, but I also don't think Vince has been on the vert ramp too much lately. I could be wrong, but I know Vince recently relocated from Southern California to North Carolina, and to the best of my knowledge, he doesn't have a vert ramp out there. So that's my pick, Jamie Bestwick. Moving on to Dirt. X Games Dirt didn't happen for quite a long time. Everybody was upset. We have it back. So don't get greedy. Be really happy this is happening. Thank you again, X Games. Please never take this away again. It seems like X Games really looked to the Toyota Challenge events this year when it came to picking riders for Dirt. A couple names in there that are somewhat unfamiliar to the Dirt scene: Nick Bruce, Colton Walker, Brandon Lupos. But if the jumps are big and easy, these guys can get down. As far as 2 riders to watch, number 1, TJ Ellis. TJ's incredibly dialed at every combination on Dirt, things like flip turn down to can-can, or even 3 no-hander to turn down, things you don't even expect from TJ. He can do it all. There just really aren't enough Dirt contests out there, so I think a lot of people forget just how damn good he is. I'm guilty of that as well, but every time I see TJ ride, my memory is instantly restored. Another rider to watch, let's say Logan Martin. Never really thought of Logan as much of a dirt rider, but what I will say is, in my opinion, Logan Martin is the best competitor in BMX. He takes every aspect of the sport so seriously, and that explains why he pretty much wins every contest he enters. Now, I don't think Dirt is exactly his familiar terrain, but he's so competitive and so good, it's going to be really interesting to see him out there. As far as my prediction of who's going to win, I'm going to go Kyle Baldock. Kyle won the overall at the Toyota Challenge events this past year, and is super dialed with crazy moves like 720 double tail whips. Based on his big tricks and the fact that he's already shown he's comfortable at riding dirt, if he puts it all together, I think he's going to take the win. All right, Park. Apparently the course is going to look like a pirate ship, so stay tuned for that. It's my understanding it's pretty bowl-based, there isn't exactly a formal box jump, and I think what's most interesting about the park contest this year is a matter of who is not there. Daniel Deers is in as an alternate, and Chase Hawk is not in at all. Daniel and Chase have been incredibly successful at X Games events in the past, but based on the new qualifier out in Boise, Daniel didn't do very well, Chase Hawk didn't compete. It makes sense. As far as riders to watch, number 1, I'm gonna say Colton Walker. Colton is young, killing it, dialed, and more than anything else, he's pretty much a local in Minneapolis. This is his first ever X Games appearance. I know he wanted it really bad, and I know he's gonna show up ready to shred. His whole family's gonna be in the crowd, and I know he's gonna do what he can to take home a medal. And he's coming off a big win at Nitro World Games, so he's got a lot of momentum on his side. Rider number 2, Larry Edgar. Larry got in the event through a wild card. He got injured at the event in Boise. Based on the stops of the Vans BMX Pro Cup that I have attended this year, every single one, Larry is a standout rider. He goes fast, he goes high, he's got crazy combinations, and the more this course is like a bowl, the more it's gonna favor Larry Edgar. With that being said, my pick for a winner, Logan Martin. Going back to what I said earlier discussing dirt, Logan is just such a serious competitor. The guy eats, sleeps, and breathes BMX. And I know a lot of guys say they do, but when you actually hang out with Logan, you see what that really means. Logan is so dialed right now, and his competitive spirit is so much bigger than, in my opinion, everybody else's. He shows up to win, and 99% of the time, he does. I do think a bowl-style course will favor a few riders more than it favors Logan, but I really feel like he's gonna make it work. The X Games gold is one of the few things missing from his mantle. I think he takes it home this year. All right, as a bonus to the park contest, an event they introduced last year is the Dave Mirra Best Trick Contest. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about this. The only riders they've announced are taking part in this are Kyle Baldock and Daniel Deers. I'm guessing the spots are gonna fill up with a lot more riders. It's not really fair to make a prediction before I know who's competing, but I will say one guy I would like to see in there and I think will do well, assuming he's a part of this, is Pat Casey. It's a jam style event, so guys are able to try their tricks multiple times. With Pat's crazy free coaster trick arsenal, I think he's gonna put something together. It will be amazing. Mega Ramp. So this is a big deal because there actually hasn't been a contest on this ramp since June of 2015. That is over 2 years. Last year, the event got shut down due to wind. There was also going to be an event on this ramp in Russia last year. However, after the ramp got there and all the riders got there, it turns out the contest ran out of money. So here we go, we're back at it. I know this event isn't for everybody, but for the guys that ride it and the guys that love it, they really, really appreciate it. As far as riders to watch, the two I'm going to say are James Foster. The reason being, I have no idea what James is going to do. A lot of the guys on the list, I can pretty well guess what their run is going to be. I have no clue what James is going to do. I'm sure it's going to involve tail whips, maybe whip-to-whip backs, maybe a backflip with 4 bar spins. He might do a quad down whip on the quarter. I have no idea. James is a badass. He's one guy to watch in this event. And the second guy, I'm going to say Curtis Downs. Curtis is a brand new face to this event. That's exciting in itself. I've seen him ride the big ramp at Nitro Circus. I know he's an all-around really good rider. I think it's important to watch him because like James, I have no clue what he's going to do. It's going to be exciting, and it's always great to see a fresh face on this ramp, especially one you know is not scared of it. As far as my pick to win, I got to go Colton Satterfield. If you recall from the last event, Colton did a double flare on the quarter. If he sticks one of his big box jump tricks again, followed by a double flare, I have no clue what's going to beat that. So that's my pick, Colton Satterfield taking it once again. All right, and finally, BMX Street. It's always an awesome event. More times than not, it comes down to Chad Curley versus Garrett Reynolds, which is always amazing. There are only 9 riders in this event, so it's kind of small, but I'm sure it's going to be action-packed. As far as 2 riders to watch, number 1, I'm going to say Sean Ricani. Every time I see Sean ride, my mind is blown. He's incredibly dialed. He showed that at last year's X Games. I think people are really starting to take notice that not only is Sean great at filming video parts, but he can really flourish in events like this. I will not be shocked one bit to see Sean on the podium yet again. And number 2, one I am very excited about, and you should be too, Courage Adams. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple years, you know Courage is one of the most badass street riders in the world. The links and combinations he puts together in addition to the burly moves are absolutely mind-blowing. This is his first X Games, and I believe his first ever time to the United States. If he feels good on his bike and he can put it together, there's a good chance you're gonna see this kid on the podium, maybe even on top of it. My pick, you probably all think the same, Garrett Reynolds. All right, so that's it for our official preview. I've got a day before I hit the road. If there's anything you'd like to see or any rider you'd like to hear from, please let us know in the comments. I will do what I can to get them on camera. Stay tuned to VitalBMX.com for all of our coverage. Be sure to watch on ESPN, and let's all hope it's a good one. See ya!